Ladies and gentlemen, in this week's YouTube video, we are going to see how this came about. This started off as a op shop find. I don't even remember how much it was. This was 2-3 years ago. I finished the painting about a year ago, just haven't posted it, haven't done the video. But yeah, let's go back and I'll show you what it looked like before, and then I'll explain what we're going to be doing with it. So first things first, we're going to have to change the frame. The frame is ugly, and the way I'm going to do that is I got slate and a black. So I'm going to go one side with the slate and the one side with the black. So when you're going this way, it looks slate, and then when you're going this way, it looks black. And then I will do my hand forged blob style around the border. So what's going here is a praying mantis eating a cockroach. The painting is called Cockroach Killer. The painting isn't actually a painting, it's just a print stuck on a bit of board, and they've done swooshy with the varnish to make it look like it's been painted. The artist, I forgot what the original artist name is, but I'll put it in text on the video. So I thought the scene was beautiful, don't get me wrong. Beautiful painting, and yeah, I thought let's put a beautiful praying mantis, show you the horrors of what the praying mantis does. Eating its prey alive, as you can see here, with the guts and the goo and the squishy. So we do the frame. Then we grab the old transfer paper and we put that on top, which is graphite on one side. I've had to use puzzle pieces to cover, like this is my biggest painting apart from murals, or not paint, I should say biggest character painting yet, as I did not do the whole painting. And then you get your design printout and you overlay that on top, and you trace with a hard ballpoint pen so that the pressure transfers the graphite to the canvas as seen in the video. Okay, now the design's on there and I finished the frame. So we're gonna have a look at what the frame looks like on the original. Can you just see it pops way better? And you can see my hand forged blob. Let's talk about what you will need for doing a painting like this. Transfer paper. This is the easiest and laziest way to get your design onto the canvas. This is where you put your design on. So you'll have a printout that goes on this side, and this side goes on the canvas. Then you just trace your design. Bob's your uncle, design's on there. I would recommend paint, golden acrylic. Now, we're going to talk about some things. If you cannot afford this stuff's like top tier, expensive stuff. Maybe you can either buy the primary colors with a black and a white, or you can buy a dark blue, a yellow, a black, and a white. That's all you need. Then, if you need other colors, you can buy a cheaper paint and just mix these in. So you have cheap paint. If you need it lighter, add your white. If you want to do a highlight, add a bit of yellow as well. Then you got your cheap paint. If you want it darker, add your black. The carbon black is more of a cool black, but add a bit more blue. That will give you good shadow tones. And also another recommendation, golden acrylic paints. They have a diagram on the back. They're mostly towards the transparent side, I've found. So if you just want to buy just the colors you need for a painting and they're a bit transparent, I'd opt for going a bit darker of a paint that you need and then mixing in Old Mate gesso. Trust me, this shit, bomb diggity, will make your paints more opaque, which is a lifesaver. You're not gonna do 50 layers of yellow to cover some shit. You don't have to use expensive brushes. These things I'd get the synthetic ones, the very soft ones. I like working with them better. If you want more brush strokes showing, go with the harder ones, but like this is El Cheapo brush. I bought a pack of them. I think it was like $5. These are a bit more expensive. I get them from the art shop. White bristles are my favorite. The synthetic white bristles. These ones. Get some different sizes. Look, all you really need is flat brushes, round brushes, and then a liner if you're doing outlines. Now, you don't really need a thick outline brush. Line outer, line inner, and then fill if you want to be quick about it. Get some different size ones so you can do different size lines. What else? What else? Matte medium. Oh, varnish. I use matte, Old Mate matte varnish, and matte medium. And I got the matte one because matte varnish, matte medium. Gotta have matte if you don't want glossy finish. I like it matte because I feel like the light's not gonna take away from the design, but then again, some designs look better with gloss. You don't have to, I mean, if lighting's right anyway, you shouldn't have to, oh, I can't see because it's blinding, the light reflection. So yeah, you want matte medium for after you transfer. You can use a fixer, I'm pretty sure, if that's cheaper for you. If I wasn't painting over something, you can also use a wash, undertone for your painting, which is a good practice to keep your design on there. That's all you really need. You could probably do it with less. You could probably just freehand your design on, use cheaper paints, use cheaper varnish. Gloves, I recommend gloves. This shit says in the warning of the carbon black. This product contains a chemical known to the state of California to cause cancer. I have eczema, I have splits and sores on my hand, which is another story. So I wear gloves to make sure I do not get cancer. I can't guarantee that, but it's a good practice to avoid anything that can give you cancer. Stay wet palettes. Get whatever brand you want. You can make your own using a sponge. I'm pretty sure it's just baking paper. Could be wrong though, but stay wet palette. If you're acrylic painter, you're not gonna waste your fucking $10 little tiny, like this is $10 AUD, pretty much. It varies. Some of them are 8. There's a series on there. Series number, the higher the series number, the more expensive. But yeah, stay wet palette will save you money. But I also recommend not leaving paint in the stay wet palette for longer than 24 hours. It will start to become friends. So after I transferred the design, I hit it with a matte medium, which makes the paint adhere to the surface a lot better. It gives teeth for something for it to grab onto, as well as making sure my design doesn't wipe away. I would recommend using some sort of spray form, like using an airbrush, because I've found with, this goes for markers as well, paint markers, if you're using a brush and you're laying on the varnish, the bristles tend to, especially if it's water-based stuff, smudge it around, especially with grey lead. Graphite is very messy stuff. So now it's time to get on with the colour. So let's get into it. Easier to go background to foreground. When you're using a wet palette and you're a mess like me, it's better to choose a color, stick with that color, finish that section of color, because otherwise you're gonna have, I have spread out my color throughout the palette and it can get a bit messy. So if you got like 4 colors on there, they're gonna start, especially if you have to take a pause break for like a day and then come back to it. Sometimes the moisture in the stay wet palette will liquefy your paints even further and they'll start running into each other. I started with the red, I picked red, started from the top left corner. You always want to work left to right so you're not smudging, you're not wiping your arm through it all. I picked the red to start off with the antennas, especially I'm working off reference. I didn't trace all these shapes out onto the transfer, I just did the outline. So I'm working off reference. I'm working off reference and I'm blocking out the colors. Yeah, I sort of just made my way down. Started from left to right, making my way down when we're doing cell shading. So like, block out, leave the smaller stuff till last, block out the big bits. I used a flat brush for fill. That can be pretty much used for anything, like filling. If you go on an angle, using the sharp of the brush, you will do lines and finer details. I switched in between. Then you got round brushes. These are good for detail, just not good for, I like smooth painting. I don't want chunky bits of paint, only like when I'm doing acrylic. I want chunky bits of paint. Texture and stuff, I want it to be like a sticker. The color is done. Time to move on to the last final stage, unless you're not doing outlines. This part's the best part. This is where your painting will come to life. It will go from blobs of color to actually being able to read what the design is. It will pop. But it is also the most stressful time. My lines can get a bit wobbly and shaky, but I think that just adds to the painting and the character of the design. So, let's get into it. Working left to right, starting off with the antennas where I did the color, working my way down, then I just follow the same steps as I did with the color. The same spots I'm hitting up, working way down, just like a printer. And then I sign the piece with my hand-forged logo. And voila, we are done. Now it's time for the final shots. I hope you enjoyed the video. Peace.